Will the Denver Broncos get J.K. Dobbins back before this weekend's game against the New England Patriots? And how differently will the Broncos offense run? And maybe Sean Payton will game plan with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback instead of Bo Nix. All things to come on today's rundown. Thank you so much for joining us. While you're here, make sure you like and subscribe to our Denver Sports 1043 The Fan YouTube channel. You can find us at Denver Sports 1043 on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're watching us on X or on Facebook, we love you. We appreciate you. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a moment with us. But I say it again, like and subscribe to that YouTube channel, guys, because I promise you, once you get there, you are going to find an absolute vault of short form, long form, sports, entertainment, radio, digital, whatever kind of sports media content you want to consume. We have it there for you at Denver Sports 1043 The Fan, specifically on our YouTube page at Denver Sports 1043. Plenty to get into today as it relates to the Denver Broncos, and we got some interesting buzz over the weekend that was not related to Bo Nix's unfortunate ankle fracture that will sideline him for the remainder of the postseason. But it was about Broncos running back J.K. Dobbins. Now, mind you, when J.K. Dobbins went down in early November in Week 10, the speculation with his Lisfranc injury was that he was going to be sidelined for the rest of the regular season, but could potentially return for the Broncos if they played in the Super Bowl. And then, as things are often want to do, the timeline got truncated a little bit. And it was like, well, maybe he could come back for the AFC Championship game. He's progressing well in his recovery. He's looking to speed up that timeline. The Broncos, as the number one seed, are positioned to be one game away from an AFC Championship. Who knows? Maybe it could happen. Well, that conversation is now front and center once again as the Broncos are locked into an AFC Championship bout with the New England Patriots. But will they get J.K. Dobbins back? My gut tells me that it's probably a bit too much to ask for J.K. Dobbins, who has not played since Week 10, November 6th, I believe, against the Raiders was the day he went down with a Lisfranc injury from a hip drop tackle, to have just 3 days or so of practice and preparation coming off of that surgery to be game ready and effective. If the Broncos do win this game and they advance to the Super Bowl, I think it's an entirely different conversation. And as unfortunate as it is that the Broncos couldn't use J.K. Dobbins at a much better time than right now with Jarrett Stidham at the helm trying to take over and fill Bo Nix's shoes to keep this Super Bowl dream alive, it does feel like ultimately R.J. Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin and maybe Jarrett Stidham, but I don't think that that's the same skill set that we saw with Bo Nix, are going to have to manage the run game without him. It's unfortunate. I hope that it's not the case, but ultimately, if J.K. Dobbins is going to be out there, he's going to need to be effective and running hard the way that he was in the first half of the season, where he was a top 5 rusher in the National Football League and still leads the Broncos in carries and yards on the team, despite not playing for roughly 2.5 months. It is time to hit the turn, presented by the Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier outdoor golf bar and entertainment venue. With their heated patio and miniature golf setup, they have the perfect cure for your winter blues. We brought him up yesterday, and we're going to bring him up probably every day until game day, he being Jarrett Stidham, who is now charged with the biggest moment in his professional life as he takes the reins for this 15-3 Denver Broncos team in the AFC Championship, on the doorstep of a return to the Super Bowl in Santa Clara 10 years after the Broncos won it in Super Bowl 50. And I think naturally, when you have an injury to a starting quarterback in the postseason, especially the way that it unfolded with Bo Nix, where after the game, he does a post-game interview with Tracy Wolfson. He goes back into the locker room on his own volition. I'm sure there is celebration and conversation with teammates. Sean Payton does a post-game press conference and then comes back out to deliver the news that Bo Nix has a fracture in his ankle and is done for the remainder of the postseason, and has, frankly, a potential 4 to 6 month recovery time. on his, docket in the immediate future, which could push things dangerously close to next season and into the beginning of the 2026 campaign. But all of that is for a future date, because the Denver Broncos right now have an opportunity to capitalize on what has been a massively surprising, thrilling, exhilarating, sometimes unbelievable, and potentially unsustainable season in year 2 with Bo Nix and Sean Payton at the helm. And I'm just not going to count things out yet. I think it's easy when the wind gets pulled out of the sails and things deflate the way they did for the Broncos after that instant classic game against the Bills to say, well, pack it in, mail it in. That's all we've seen from here. We have several members of our own station who have kind of leaned in that direction. Will Peterson, James Marilat, et cetera, to say, hey, it was a great run, but looks like we're on to 2026. And I think that the odds are clearly stacked against the Broncos. In fact, I don't think that. I know that. The odds that the Broncos advance in this AFC Championship game and make it back to the Super Bowl, let alone win a Super Bowl, are now heavily stacked against them. But with recent historical precedent and just with the dynamic that exists within this Broncos team, I think it is foolish and unwise to completely write them off simply because of Bo Nix's injury in this game. Remember, this isn't the NBA, the NHL, Major League Baseball, where you have to win a 7-game series and typically the best team does rise to the top over that larger sample size. This is the NFL. It's one and done. It's March Madness, okay? Jarrett Stidham has been in this system with Sean Payton for 3 years. Sean Payton spoke glowingly about Jarrett Stidham going all the way back to the 2019 draft, where he was drafted by none other than the New England Patriots, about the skill set, the attributes that he possesses, and what he liked so much about him back then, which obviously factored into Sean Payton targeting Jarrett Stidham along with Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers on the first day of free agency in his first year as head coach of the Broncos after leaving the booth at Fox Sports. So on Sean Payton's first day of player acquisition as head coach of the Denver Broncos, Jarrett Stidham was on his to-do list. There's clearly a reason why, and that reason why is also a major factor in the contract that Jarrett Stidham got. I believe James Palmer said yesterday, reminded us it was 2 years, $10 million, and why Jarrett Stidham signed another contract extension with the Denver Broncos since that time. The more you believe that your team is a Super Bowl contender, the more it makes sense to put cash and skill into the backup quarterback position for exactly the reason that the Broncos find themselves in now, this exact situation. And Sean Payton is not unfamiliar with this exact dynamic. Sean Payton in his career as a head coach is 17-4 with a backup quarterback at the helm. He went 5-2 with Jameis Winston. He went 7-2 with Taysom Hill, and he went a 5-0 with Teddy Bridgewater in place of Drew Brees. Now, none of those games happened in the postseason. Certainly not in the AFC Championship game or the Conference Championship game when Sean was in New Orleans. But you have a situation where you have a extremely experienced championship-winning head coach who has a multitude of games under his belt adjusting his offense without the starting quarterback in play. And the backup quarterback in this case has a multi-year-long relationship with Sean Payton, a significant amount of time in Sean Payton's system with this specific team, and let's not forget, was arguably the best statistical quarterback in the NFL preseason this past year, throwing for almost 400 yards, I believe, and 4 touchdowns, 30 for 38 in terms of his attempts. If there was a preseason MVP, Jarrett Stidham was certainly in line to win that award. It's just one game. Having J.K. Dobbins back would certainly help. Getting more out of R.J. Harvey and Jaleel McLaughlin feels like a must to keep the play action in play and allow Stidham to not face a defense that faces a one-dimensional offense, to allow Jarrett Stidham to be able to sit in the pocket, manipulate things, and work the ball down the field for Sean Payton's concepts to come to life. All of that would be great. And some of that is probably necessary if the Broncos are going to have success. And as crazy as it sounds, I'm just not going to count the Broncos out simply because they experienced the most deflating possible situation that you could have after one of the most exciting games in the better part of the last decade. I'm starting to talk myself into the fact that the Denver Broncos can't just hang or be competitive in this game. I think they can win it. And time will tell. But as I sit here right now on Tuesday, January 20th, I think the Broncos have as good of a puncher's chance as any to advance to the Super Bowl. As crazy as that sounds with how important Bo Nix is to this offense and to this team, to this city and this state, there in my mind is a real possibility that they can get there without him, the same way that Nick Foles helped carry the Eagles, the same way that we've seen other backup quarterbacks in the regular season and postseason be forced into a similar situation. It's going to take some mile-high magic, but I just think this Broncos team that's been living off of it all year, it's hard to say they don't have just a pinch more left in them. Time's going to tell. We will see. The week of preparation is going to continue to roll on. We will all keep our eyes peeled for potential updates on J.K. Dobbins. You also have Alex Forsyth and others all eligible to come off of injured reserve and potentially begin their practice windows. So reinforcements may indeed be coming for the Broncos, and clearly they can use just about all of them that they can get. The Avs and the Nugs are going to continue rolling this week with the Anaheim Ducks coming into town on later this week, and the Los Angeles Lakers a little bit later tonight at 8 p.m. We will be here to chronicle it all for you at Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, live on the air from 6A to 7P. No one is live and local longer and more confidently than we are. And then you have our online gold mine at Denver Sports 104.3 on YouTube. You also can find us at that handle on Instagram and TikTok. This YouTube channel, guys, I'm telling you, you don't have enough time in your day, in your week, in your month to consume the amount of content that we have available for you. From our radio lineup, Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil with The Tribe, The Drive with Zach By and Philip Lindsay, Denver Sports Tonight, all of our unique and original digital content like From the Nosebleeds with Joey Gunner, this show, The Rundown, Orange and Blue Today, the crown jewel of Broncos content here in the state of Colorado, Mile High Hoops with Jake Shapiro and Anil Pirro, Mile High Hockey with Will Peterson and Drew Spivak, Avs, Nuggets, Broncos, Buffs, Rams, Rockies, whatever you want, we have it there for you. You only have 5 minutes. We've got plenty of short form content for you. You want to go through the marathon and watch some of our longer form content to have a more expansive and detailed breakdown of your local teams? We've got it there for you as well. At Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan on YouTube. Like, subscribe, and get on the train. We will catch you tomorrow at noon for the next Rundown.